So back to the start with the Diamond Challenge Sculls. We have Tom Graves of Class 3 Rowing Centre, a finalist last year in this particular event on the Buckinghamshire station. And Mendes of Portugal on the Berkshire station. Mendes, former lightweight from the lightweight double, competing in the single scull here at Henley. And Graves last season, obviously competed here, got to the final and led for most of the way and then got rowed down by lightweight in the final. So I'm sure he'll have nightmares of that in the back of his mind.
Yeah, Nuno did a bit of that yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah,
so,
he was losing all the way down the track and then came through.
Phenomenal race, yeah. So that's somebody 5 stone heavier than him, so he's got form on that. Off they go. What are the tactics here? So tactical, one-on-one. Graves is going to want to get a bit of an advantage, but Mendes is going to be full of confidence after yesterday's race.
It's going to be interesting to see how much that took out his legs.
Yeah.
You know, not being able to come off the gas at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And Graves is going out, using his power to say, I'm here, and I plan to put my power down and see what you can do. Very emphatic start from Graves. Mendes hanging in there as he does so well.
I think wanting to put him under pressure, obviously, with what I'm sure he looked at the results from yesterday, saw his opponent was losing at each marker. The earlier he can put him under pressure, the more kind of questions he'll have in his mind. So, you know, smart tactic, but must make sure that he gets in his own rhythm.
Yeah, in my mind there, Mendes looking really sharp and long and on it. And it looks a little bit hard work for me in the Graves' skull. A little heavier. I mean, he's obviously a much bigger guy.
Shoulders are very high. It's a bit too stabby. The lightweight on the far side, Mendes just looks a bit slicker.
He does to me. And of course, it's really tough racing conditions in sculls. You notice the bounce in the water that much more. And if you're a bigger person in these tiny boats, you kind of potentially, you feel it a bit more as well. Harder to be on that stable platform that you want to allow yourself to work. This is about as far away as you get from sitting on an ergo and working hard.
Yeah. And also with that kind of wash, Graves has been warned by the umpire to move back to his station, and that's the last thing you want to do when you're in a tussle like this side by side, is to kind of have to steer, alter your course, slows the boat down. And obviously with the wash coming from the side, we saw a bit of that unsettles him, because the single's such a slow boat. You know, if it goes back to virtually no speed, to pick that back up, the energy it takes to do that is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can just feel slightly unsettled that the boat isn't quite running as you want it, whereas Mendes looking very straight. But of course, he's still a little bit down. So, you know, he's under pressure. He's definitely having to go absolutely flat out, full tilt again.
But I think he'd be comfortable with that.
Yeah, that's how he races.
Racing them in the double years ago, they always used to be behind and had this flying last 500 metres that they love to sprint at the end.
Because he was 5th in your race in 2012, wasn't he, in the double? So you know him well.
He loves going through the gears. You always know that if you've got 2 lengths, you're good. But if they get a sniff, they're going to be trying to pounce on you. So
yeah, absolutely. As Martin Cross put it yesterday, he has a second half on him. He was up 36-37 yesterday, which is pretty impressive. So yeah, it gets a bit of a reputation, doesn't he? I think, you know, Martin was starting to say yesterday maybe he's in the sort of, you know, the later years of his career and almost rode him off, and then he just put down a phenomenal second half. So Mendes is very much in this event and somebody that we're all watching. Yeah,
no, he's a very talented individual. Obviously making an Olympic final in the lightweight double is no mean feat, and, you know, with his style of racing, you can never, ever think it's over.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, just being in those lightweight double races, they are phenomenal, aren't they? I mean, they're so, you know, so little within them, as you know so well. It's tiny margins, isn't it?
Yeah, so every athlete's the same shape, same size virtually. You're weighing into it as before. You're a couple 100 grams between you when you're on the start line. So, you know, it comes down to, you know, efficiency of working as a unit. Also, the mindset you have as a crew, your plan, the belief you have in your ability and the training you've done. So there's so many factors come into it.
Yeah, and look at this. They're pretty much level, I think, at the moment, I'd say here. So this is all about the psychology of what can they do now and who's got more in the tank, who's got more experience, who wants this most, who's willing to hurt themselves, who's most efficient. All of those questions being asked.
And the thing is, in a single, there's no one to ask them to apart from yourself. So, it's a tough one.
It is, that's right. You've got no cocks urging you on. It's up to you which questions you listen to in your head and which answers you give. I always think about having a variety of different voices in my head, and I can choose which one to listen to. Is it the one that's saying, oh no,
it's a good day, it's a good day?
Or is it the one that's going, yeah, and you've got more, go up a gear, go up a gear. So Graves with the advantage still. Nuno Mendes a little bit there, maybe dropping back a little bit, but still in the race.
That's an interesting move there from Thomas Graves there. Really kind of put the hammer down in that middle section there just to open up, to kind of close that door.
So I think he upped his rate, didn't he, to get to that point. So he is putting a marker down. He doesn't want to be left in a final sprint. Wow, Mendes has been rating about 37 and Graves is on 34. So, this is high rates for scullers to be going down the track like this. Mendes now looking a little weary, I think.
Yeah, and that's as we talked about, how his recovery would have been from yesterday. There's only so many times you can sprint like that he did yesterday, especially over this track. And we were talking about him being in a double, and that's a different element to it because you've got somebody else with you, but doing it on your own like that will completely empty the tank.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Graves is now looking a little fresher, isn't he? But Mendes is having a look. He's having a look because he's saying, okay, he's making that deal with himself. Am I going to go again? Am I going to pull it out again?
As you mentioned, those questions, he's deciding which answer he's going to give in that moment.
He is. Those ducks had better get out of the way because Mendes is coming. Those more hens. Yep, thank you very much. It's a gap now. It's a big gap as they come into stewards. It's a big gap for him to do something about.
But in the single, it's like you can change speed so dramatically. But I think Thomas, Graves has got enough kind of clear water between him and himself and him and Mendes to just enjoy coming for the stewards enclosure. It will take a massive effort to come back from that position.
Very impressive now, Graves. He looks better to me here than he did at the start in terms of he's got into his stride, he's got into the power. He's feeling more confident now. You can see Mendes well behind him now, so I think he's relaxed a bit.
I think also mentally for him, after coming here last year and what happened, he can put that to bed now with this performance. He's been a bit edgy, not knowing with the lightweight he's coming up against, but I think he's kind of settled that, and he can really start thinking about kind of the semi-final tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he's going to be keeping his eye on Mendes because of Mendes' record, but he's looking really powerful, really strong now. I mean, he's taken the rate back down again because they've done their moves. They did their counter punches and jabs down the middle of the course, and I think his upper hook probably has won out.
That's the heavyweight in him, that's what it was, the uppercut.
Now looking really beautiful sculling down there. They'll be enjoying that.
I love that, Henley, is that how close people can get to the athletes racing. Mooring your boat up on the booms there, having your picnic, and shouting at the athletes as they come past.
That's right, it has that real personal feel, which is why we all love it. A huge appreciation for both these scullers, the race they put down. Huge excitement about what's to come. Mendes having another go. He's going to put his weight up, but it's too late. Graves looking supreme as he comes towards the last 10 strokes now.
This is when you just want it to be over. You're in the single, you're just like, you're in the finish line towards me now, it's done. So that was a win for Thomas Graves in his opening round of the Diamond Challenge Sculls. And Mendes